a lot of things to do, and I hope the entire experience is as enriching for all of you as it has been for me to plan the whole thing for all of you. Just give me 1 second while I share my screen. Yeah, I am here, and there we go. Namaste, everybody. So today's session is going to be a quick, small session where I'm going to talk about animation, resources, concepts, types, and purposes. Ma'am has already given you a brief big background as to that animations no longer are just limited to in the entertainment industry, but we see a lot of it being used in the educational setting also. I hope you're able to see my screen. And because this is Zoom, I'm confident that what I see is what you see. So on screen, you meet two of my companions. One is Ducky, and Ducky has got another friend with her, and that's the learning worm. And the learning worm is very clear about something, that before we begin any kind of a training or any kind of a learning session, we must take some oaths. Now, why these oaths are important? Because this helps us remember what is the purpose for which we are going to spend the next 1.5 hours. I understand from the previous interaction that you may not be able to unmute yourself, but feel free. I've opened a chat window on my screen also, or you can just put it in the chat, and I'll request one of our hosts also to just let me know if there is a question coming up at any point of time. So, what are the learning oaths we generally should always take? The first learning oath that we should remember is that we need to always be curious and kind. We must be curious, we must be kind, we must learn to be brief about the whole topic, and always remember to help, care, and share. Now, interestingly, these courtesies that we extend to everybody are taught to us during our kindergarten days, but as time progresses, we might forget them. So this is an opportunity to go back and just remind ourselves. Apart from this, we need to remember to feel free to learn at our own pace, because once we learn at our own pace, it is only then we can decide how we are going to progress ahead in our complete learning journey. Uh, and the whole idea that we need to remember is, when we start learning at our own pace, we take charge of our learning goals and the way we wish to learn. The advantage of having your own pace is also that you get to choose your learning goal and choose your learning path. Now, it automatically comes to question is, what does this have to do with animations? Well, animations will help you set your learning paths a bit more interestingly, because animation is nothing but just a method in which the figures are manipulated to appear as moving objects. So what does this mean? On your screen, you can see Ducky with her friends near the pond. And Ducky wants to explain what animation is to all of you. So here she is telling that the minute butterflies come, we need movement. And so she brings in butterflies, and you are assuming that the butterflies are in movement going around the lotus flowers close to her friend, the frog. But in reality, there is more than what meets the eye. So let us understand this process a bit in more detail. Okay. So the point to remember is, when you see a series of images in quick successions, it creates an impression of motion in your mind. Like, let's look at this example. You see this ball going up and down, up and down, up and down. And the perception is that this is moving, the ball is moving. But then Ducky very beautifully reminds us that the bouncing ball that you just saw was nothing but it consists of 6 frames that was repeated indefinitely over a period of time. Now, why is it important to understand what are the 6 frames? So the 6 frames I've given it to you on the screen to see. If you remember in the previous slide, we saw the ball bouncing up and down. So it starts from the base position. In number 2 goes a slightly up, 3 goes slightly higher, 4 goes slightly higher, 5 comes down, 6 back to the original position. Now, because this is happening in such fast succession, uh, it is essential to remember that the animations that are happening are nothing but the way in which we are able to view things. Deepa madam has written that we should be bilingual. I will be bilingual. Sorry, Deepa ma'am. I thought this was for the English speaking group. कोई बात नहीं. क्विकली एनिमेशंस क्या है? एनिमेशंस बस एक परसेप्शन है जो एक ऑब्जेक्ट को दिखता है कि वो मूव हो रही है, बट रियलिटी में वो मूव हो रही है कि नहीं हो रही है वो आप मुझे अभी थोड़ी देर में बताएंगे. इससे पहले वाली स्लाइड में मैंने आपको दिखाया था कि एक बॉल अपनी जगह से ऊपर नीचे जा रही है. ठीक है, हमारे सामने अगर वो बॉल हो, अगर हम उसको फ्लोर पे फेंकें तो दैट बॉल ऑटोमेटिकली बिकॉज ऑफ ग्रेविटी कीप्स गोइंग अप एंड डाउन. बट कंप्यूटर में थ्रू हम एक परसेप्शन का यूज करते हैं और उससे हम ये फीलिंग देते हैं कि वो बॉल जो है एक्चुअली अप एंड डाउन मूव कर रही है. सो थोड़ा सा और इसके बारे में जानेंगे कि ये कैसे मूव होती है, इसके लिए क्या प्रोसेसेस है. ओके, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है शमीरा मैम. सो यस नीलम मैम, आई लाइक द फैक्ट दैट यू ब्रॉट दिस कॉन्सेप्ट हियर. ठीक है, सो अगर आपने वो जो छोटी सी इमेज देखी थी जिसमें एक बॉल ऊपर नीचे जा रही है, वो इट वाज नॉट बिकॉज कि एक इमेज थी, एक्चुअली 6 इमेजेस थी जो आपको आपके स्क्रीन पे दिख रही हैं. उसी तरह से थोड़ा सा और आगे चलेंगे. आपको एक बहुत सिंपल सी चीज यू नीड टू रिमेंबर एंड अंडरस्टैंड. एनिमेशंस जो है दैट इज नथिंग बट ट्रिकिंग योर आईज. So in the concept of animations, in the concept of videos and all, the concept that is brought is animations are based on the persistence of vision. Now, what is this persistence of vision? ये थोड़ा सा समझने की जरूरत है. 1/16th of a second. Aarti ma'am, you need to be a bit more clear. What is 1/16th of a second? Is it the time taken for your eyes to blink? Or is it the time taken for a frame to come into the screen? Or is it taken for the time for the sound to travel in space? There are various options, but yes, yes, image persists in the eye only for 1/16th of a second. Thank you so much. So let us move ahead and थोड़ा सा और देखते हैं. Persistence of the vision is कि कितनी देर तक आप एक चीज को देख सकते हैं ताकि आपको लगे कि ये स्टेशनरी है या ये मूव कर रही है, या मतलब ये वहीं खड़ी है या मूव कर रही है. और जैसे मैम लोगों ने बिल्कुल सही बताया, 1/16, एक सेकंड का 16वां हिस्सा इज द ड्यूरेशन. जब तक अगर वो खड़ी है तो द आई फील्स दैट इट इज स्टेशनरी, और अगर उतने ही ड्यूरेशन में थोड़ी हिल गई तो हमें लगता है कि वो मूव हो रही है. थोड़ा आगे चलें. So some statistics is that this works because brain जो है ना, हमारी जो brain है, it's a wonderful machine. Now this brain can only process, थोड़ा सी इसकी प्रोसेसिंग पावर ऑल्दो बहुत ज्यादा है, पर एक सेकंड के टाइम ड्यूरेशन में, आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट 1 second, and the amount I've spoken right now just in this 1 second has been more than about 10 to 12 seconds, just to give you the idea. Even saying 1 second is more than 1 second. So in 1 second, the brain is able to picture 10 to 12 separate images. अगर आपने उसको 10 से 12 सेपरेट इमेजेस दिखा दिए तो ब्रेन 10 या 12 अलग अलग इमेजेस बता सकता है. लेकिन अगर इसी इमेजेस की जो मूवमेंट है, कि चेंज जिस तरह से बोल रहे हैं, उसको हम थोड़ा फास्ट कर दें तो ब्रेन को लगता है कि वो चीज हिल रही है. दैट मीन्स द ऑब्जेक्ट इज मूविंग, and that is what persistence of vision is already all about. One of the teachers gave a very good example, and I want you to guess what. This is a scene from a movie that you all have seen, I'm sure, and let me hear your thoughts about it. Please do put it on the chat. Can you see the video moving? Yes. So this was from Tare Zameen Pe, correctly said. And Ishan is the hero of this movie. This is an example of what they correctly tried to say, that this was a flip book which Ishan made. But the speed at which Amir Khan is moving, the speed at which he's moving the flips, it gives you a perception कि ईशान अपनी फैमिली से दूर जा रहा है. पर ऐसा उसने कैसे किया? He kept making images close to each other, and Amir Khan learned how to flip the whole thing. So this is a very, very good example of basically how perception of the vision takes place. All right, thank you so much for your responses. Oops, sorry. Now, Ducky thinks that here is my angry bird friend, and ये तो कितने आराम से उड़ रही है, इसको थोड़ी कुछ मदद चाहिए. पर अगर आप स्क्रीन में देखें, ये जो आपके सामने एक सेकंड में जो अपने पंख ऐसे कर रही है, उसको बनाने के लिए एक आर्टिस्ट को 17 फ्रेम्स लगे. आप अपने स्क्रीन पे बहुत क्लियरली देख सकते हैं उसकी फ्रेम की सीक्वेंस. थोड़ा ध्यान से अगर आप देखें तो you will see every movement which the angry bird is making, you find it in one of the frames. Now, because these frames, क्योंकि ये frames इतने तेजी से जा रहे हैं, आपको लग रहा है स्क्रीन पे that this is meant for non-Hindi states. Sir, you want me to go back to English? I will go back to English then. I have no problem, sir. Between 2 and 3 groups, it will be difficult to handle requests, but I will try and make it. Yes, okay. So this is, so others you'll have to, I really don't know, Diksha team will have to take the decision. As far as I'm concerned, I'll continue in English. Please don't worry.
Yes, you can continue in English, ma'am.
Yeah, so I'll continue in English. Thank you. So basically, when we talked about the persistence of the vision, the idea is in that short duration of time, you are able to see that how the image is moving faster and faster. But actually, what is happening? Each frame that you see in an animation is a different image because they're clubbed together in a very short timeline. They appear to be flying. All right. So having said that, in this, you can see the small scene where you have Ducky, you have the butterflies, and you have Ducky's friend Birdie flying. All right. Now, let us understand as to why do we need animations and what is the power of animations. Yakub ji, I cannot go bilingual, but abhi next 10 minutes, I will also prove to you that language is not one of the criterias for which to appreciate animations. So to give an example about why we need animations and what makes the whole thing very interesting is I'm going to take the example from a Hindi book. In spite of the fact that I know that there are a majority of you who are non-Hindi speaking here, I'm taking the example of from a Hindi book, grade 3. And I'm going to be talking to you about this small poem in the book Cheetie. Now, Cheetie is an ant, which you can see from the screen. You don't need language translation here. So let us see what happens next. This is from the newly developed books by NCRT, and these animations that I'm going to be showing you on screen are made here at CIET NCRT, and we are very proud to present this to you. Again, as I said, you don't need any kind of a language here. Have a look at this.
Cheetie.
Okay. Before I move to the next slide, in the chat, can you tell me some characteristics of the ant you realized because of this short animation? Should I play the animation again? Hardworking, smile. What else? Leg movement. No, I want the characteristics. Likes sugar. Yes, yes. Very hardworking, happy, loves sugar. 3, 4 things automatically you got to know without even knowing language. All right, persistency, consistency, fair enough. I'm moving ahead. Okay. Now, the poem is there in the book. All right. And that's one way of doing poetry.
Yes, Pranita ma'am, can you hear us? Ma'am is trying to join us again. She will share her screen again.
Technology also, troubles us when we don't want it to be troubled. So as I was telling you, let's look at this quick recording, and if you could just let me know, can you hear the audio? It would be nice. Can you hear the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
छोटा तन पर बड़े इरादे नहीं कभी घबराती चींटी छोटा तन पर बड़े इरादे नहीं कभी घबराती चींटी नन्हे नन्हे पैर बढ़ाकर पर्वत पर चढ़ जाती चींटी काम बड़े करके दिखलाती जहाँ कहीं अड़ जाती चींटी मेहनत ही पूजा है प्रभु की हमको यही सिखाती चींटी हर पल चलती जाती चींटी श्रम का राग सुनाती चींटी हर पल चलती जाती चींटी श्रम का राग सुनाती चींटी अरे चींटी तो कितना काम करती है
Okay, so quickly, what all did you think are the characteristics of ants? Tell me, what are the characteristics of ants? They're moving, hardworking. What else? The unity, the teamwork goes on. Anything else? That they're very cooperative, they're social, they save food, they're laborious, they're well coordinated, very calm, have patience, plan, and there's nothing they can't do. Now, all these things you want, they store food, they never give up, they are able to climb great heights. Now, all these things, if a teacher tries to explain it in the class that, ants are so hardworking, see what they do, see what they don't do, through the poem, a teacher always, like you also as experience holders would know, that it's not easy to help the students connect to that. But if you tell the students that, let's see what the ants do, and they realize how hardworking they are in flat, this animation is about 2.5 to 3 minutes with the background score. In 2.5 minutes, children understand the importance of working in a straight line. They understand how does teamwork function, that even a huge caterpillar, if you remember that scene, a huge caterpillar can be lifted by a few ants, the teeny mini ants. There is not much you need to be talking about when you have such videos, and that is what is the power of animation. All right. Yes, they completed the very difficult task of sorry. So now when we talk about why animations, I think I don't need to, move ahead and add more to it, because you have already understood that it helps you retain it helps you retain information. It also enhances your memory and experience. Now, um, many at times, how does animation also help is it helps you understand complex ideas into simple concepts. Let me give you an example. um, we have at CIT, we are also running Bharat on the Moon portal. Please do visit this portal. We had started this portal when 2 years back in 2023, when Chandrayaan landed on the south side of the moon. Now, please understand, trying to tell children that spaceships don't take off because they see rockets and all taking off like this, but they don't go like this directly into the moon. There is a process in which the spacecraft has to travel, and that's why, although the aircraft, the spacecraft took off, the spacecraft took off on 14th of July, it landed only on the 23rd of August. Why did it take so much time? So there is this concept of Kepler's law, which was given in the 16th century. If you wish to explain all this that I'm talking to the children, and these could be very young children or very old children, it could spread across your age group, they would find it difficult to understand that escaping gravity is not so easy. But if they look at the elliptical path that you're seeing on the screen, the students are now able to visualize, all right, if the elliptical path is made to escape the Earth's gravity, the same elliptical path will also be made to deaccelerate and finally land in the moon. Now, that is the power of animation. Complex ideas can be very simply explained to children. And my request is, please do go and visit us on the website. You'll find many interesting activities also for your children. Apart from that, we also realize animation, supports diverse learners. It helps for emotional engagement and activation, motivation. Like, let me give you the example. You all saw the example of Tare Zameen Pe, where using that flip book, the child has expressed volumes. And unfortunately, not many of them understand, even the parents found it difficult to understand the language the child was speaking. But as far as the child was concerned, he was able to emotionally engage, share what he was feeling with just images. Now, that's the power animation comes with. We also realize that animation helps develop your critical thinking and your ability to analyze situation. Um, we will also see how do we make all these. That is going to be the next part which we're going to discuss. Now, it's important, before we understand how do we make all these animations. Yes, Aparna ma'am, I will be showing you that also. Before we understand on how do we make all these animations, let us take a moment to understand what are the types of animations and why is this important. This is important because tomorrow, as content creators, or content users or content consumers, you all will be involved in processes where you will have to guide people to tell them what exactly you want. So if you want to tell your expert teams, or you want to guide an animation process, or even do the animation process yourself, you need to understand what are the types of animations that are there for everybody to see. You're not able to hear me? Are you able to hear me, please? There is in the chat, it says not.
You are audible now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so now let us look at what is the example of hand-drawn animation and how interesting hand-drawn animations can be. Now, the minute you see a hand-drawn animation, that tells you that you do not need, sophisticated computers to teach your children about motion, teach your children about how things move and processes happen. Yeah. So this is a quick. Okay, so you saw some very interesting examples of animations done through using the flipbook and hand-drawn animations. That was the hand-drawn effect. Why is it important for you all to remember this? Because as teachers, you'll also get the examples, you'll also need assignments, you'll also need to motivate your children to integrate art into their classroom teaching, learning, assessments, and homeworks and their learning experiences. I'll give you an idea. If you are going to do, if you're going to get your students to do the flow of the heart using an animation, I will show that to also to you in some time. The way the blood flows into the heart and flows out of the heart. If you are able to do it on the presentation, on a PowerPoint or on Canva, or you're able to use an animated video, that's fantastic. But if you want your students to draw and do it, you can get a couple of them to do as group work. You can get them to work and do these hand-drawn animations. So if you want to know how do you do this, please understand the hand-drawn animations are very easy to do. You need a similar kind of a book. Your book or your notebook has to be of the same size. I'm sure you would remember by this video that all the the books are of the same size, and follow a single point. If the point is placed at the center of the book, all the points of origin have to be at the center of the book, and from that center you draw around, and that's what gives the perception of movement as the pages are flipped. So that's a very interesting way to integrate art into our classroom learning experiences. You do not need high-end technology to do that. Experiential learning is also to give them this opportunity, and I've given you the way how you can very easily replicate it in the class. You don't want to give it as a individual work to the students, you can give it as group work. You can also use this technique as an alternative assessment option for your children who require additional support or additional assistance if they are finding it difficult due to any reason to reply in the traditional methods of answers where description is given. So this is one option. All right. Oh, sorry. So now let us, yes. Oh, so sorry. Uh, all right. So now from hand, animations, we are going to look at some two-dimensional images. Two-dimensional animations that you have, that you will see. Now, two-dimensional animations are basically flat images. That is, it allows objects to be viewed only from two dimensionals. You're not able to see a three-dimensional image. When I say two-dimensional, it allows the eye to only perceive the length and the width, or nothing else, length and the width. So, the object grows and, becomes small only based on the two dimensions, that is length and width. Let us look at an example here. I told you that I will show you some examples also. Ducky is kind here enough. Now you see on the face of it, there is the beating of the human heart. On the left side of your screen, you are able to see an image which describes the process in which the blood flows. But on the right side, you have the two-dimensional beating of the heart. Why is this two-dimensional? And now as teachers, you also know, ideally you would like to see the heart being rotated. You are able to see the whole concept being rotated. But in this case, you just have, it's a flat image. So two-dimensional animations happen when images are flat. Like the video that you saw on the ants, that was a two-dimensional animation in progress. Now, the advantage of two-dimensional animation is they are easier to make, and you do not need much expertise in making these two-dimensional videos. In some time, like if you wish to also use your Canva account, then you are able to create two-dimensional animations very easily. Just on a side note, hopefully by the end of October, mid-October to end October, we will have Canva tutorials, within your Diksha for your CPDs, which you can use, learn, and then use Canva for your own classrooms experience. Nidhi ma'am, flipbook is also considered a kind of a two-dimensional animation, but the flipbook is more of hand-drawn animation. It's the way animation effect is given on a physical experience. It is not about, it is not, when we talk about two-dimensional animation, we're talking it more and more about what is available with us on the computer. But what you talk of a flipbook is a hand-drawn animation. That's the effect you get on flipping the pages. All right, let me just move a bit ahead. Now, we've seen some types of animations. We've seen two-dimensional, we've seen hand-drawn, we've seen animations which are just simply, it goes up and down, bouncing around like the butterflies and all. Now, let us see why three-dimensional animations are so interesting. Now, the minute we talk about three-dimensional animations, we are bringing in depth also. We are bringing in an experience where you feel that everything is very, very real. So, in the three-dimensional animation, objects, whatever object you see, they are created in 3D. That is, you will see movement happening in 3D. Let us look at an example here. This is a story, this is a work in progress. This is a story from the book, newly developed book about Birbal ki Khichdi. So for those of you who are not aware that what was the story about, this is an Akbar Birbal witty story where Birbal, tries to make khichdi, that is a kind of food, with by keeping the fire really up, above the pot high up and the fire at the ground. Now, the interesting aspect, what you see here is a drama enacting going on by the students, but the fire, the setting, and all that you see is not real. This is created using three-dimensional animations. Everything you see, except for children who are wearing, the attires and all, rest all has been created, generated by computer image. Now, appreciate this image so that you see and realize that, you're not getting children to touch fire, yet the perception is such that you feel that the children are there with fire. And that's what is the beauty of three-dimensional animations and all. All right. One second, please. Yes, I'm moving ahead now. There were a lot of questions some time back that please tell us tools, open source tools, or, the kind of tools. After this session, Prachi ma'am is going to take you through one of the open source tools to help you create animations. Of course, once you start having subscriptions to, or somebody in the family or your friend circle who has a subscription to AI tools, creating animations is not difficult, because you can give prompts, and with a little bit of investment on with money, you're able to create animations very easily using a few AI tools. I am not going into the AI tools for a simple reason, because there is a price involved, and that's not what, what I would like you to understand is, if you get an opportunity to work with animations, what are the key concepts you need to remember? Now, one of the key concepts that we need to remember while talking about animations is to understand how the animation is going to be shot, in terms of you doing it or you getting somebody else to do. This is the terms that you're going to see in the next 2-3 minutes on the screen are basically a wrap up of the tools and the words that, in case you decide to use an AI tool, you must use them in the prompts that you give the AI tool to make animations. Please remember, all AI tools that are there, be it Runway, Midjourney, which allows you to do 1 or 2 free animations a day, or create free videos in a day, you will waste credits if you don't understand these terms. And these terms, if you are somebody who's interested in photography, you will be able to pick them up and understand their importance. So now, what are these terms? So we are going to now understand about the concept of angles and shots. Why angles and shots are important? Because if you don't understand angles and shots, you'll not be able to develop and design how you wish the animation should take place. Because please remember, the eye is your brain is very smart. And if you wish to harness the potential to trick it, to make it assume that a still image is moving, you need to understand some concepts. So when we talk about angles and shot, especially through photography, we are talking about an angle which is at the eye level. So whatever you see here, that is at eye level. But if you're looking at the concept if you're looking at an object from top to below, like what is called a high angle, you see the image of the cat changing. Then if I'm moving ahead, if you look at it from a low angle, that means you're looking at the object from here to there. Where do you need to use this while creating animations? Where suppose a character is looking up towards a tree. So you need to remember that your character has to see the depth. There has to be a ground. Their character has to see depth. And what all you'll see on top of a tree, all those elements also have to be introduced. Then you also have the concept of a wide angle in shots. That means not only your character, but other aspects also come into play. So when you talk about a wide angle shot, especially when you're taking photography or you're creating an animated scene, then the elements in the background are important. Like for example, if you've seen the videos of Gumantu Chachi, who's a part of the adult education program, you will see that you need to also see the village scene happening behind. So why is this important? Because in some time I'm going to be talking to you about planning for animation, where storyboard becomes a very important aspect. In the storyboard, if you're not clear as to what are the elements that need to be brought in, you will not be able to design your shots clearly. Okay, so now let us understand this a bit more. There is something known as a macro shot, that is a very, very detailed shot. And there is something which is known as a close-up shot. Quickly on the chat, can you tell me what is the difference you see between a macro shot and a close-up shot? In the chat, can you quickly tell me what do you see as a difference? I don't need to tell this to you. And that's why there are no definitions. Macro is detail. Very good with Gupta ji. Very good that in macro only a certain part is seen. So you're zooming in to great detail. Whereas in close-up shot, you are trying to capture the entire object a bit close, in a bit close. Like if we were to go back, like for example, sorry. In this, if you see the wide angle shot, you're able to see the bumblebee dress here. Whereas in the close-up shot, you're not able to see the bumblebee dress because the face is only at close-up. Now, why these are important? These are again and again, I'm repeating myself why these are important is because, yes, macro shot only a particular position is taken, not the entire thing. Why these are important? Because when you're going to create your animations, remember every shot will need a frame, and every frame will need to be converted into a series of frames if you wish to give that concept or that illusion of motion. All right. So then, yes. Okay. Now, then you also have a medium shot and a long shot. Long shot is again where the entire perception is taken into, the previous field is also brought into concept. The wide angle shot takes it longitudinally, whereas your long shot is something more in terms of a horizontal view. There is a sideways, of course, you all know the portraits can be from front, you can have a sideways shot. You also have an aerial shot, that is an overview from top. Now, with drones and all coming in, many a times the schools want an aerial shot of their school so that they're able to showcase the various features and all. So the aerial shot is something which is taken from top. So how will it appear? Just like how the cat is able to see the aerial shot. All right. Now let us move ahead. The shots are also changing based on the time of the day. Like for example, you see a shot which comes in at sunrise, whereas the morning shot is a bit different. Then you also have the shot which, one second, please. Then you have a shot which is at noon and the one which is at afternoon. Now, the difference between the noon and the afternoon shot is that in the noon shot, the sun is right above, so there is a certain brightness associated. Again, it might seem I'm talking about photography here, but please let me remind you, when you look at animations and you try to figure out where you're going wrong or what you need to improve, you need to remember these small technical aspects, from which angle is the shot being showed to the viewer, because these technical aspects is what will help you, create a animation that includes some depth, that includes, the feeling of motion through a certain experience. All right. Now I'm going to come back to answer your main question, and then I'll be open to take questions also. Now, all this that I showed you, the question can come up is, how do you actually start this process? How do you make all this? Because it's very easy to be an audience and see and admire everything. But if I need to get in as a teacher, what all do I need? So there are many ways in which we can get associated into the process of animation. What are these ways will also help us understand how our journey of animation is planned. By the way, that cheaty video which you saw, that song and video, it lasted about less than 2 minutes. It was nearly a 90 odd or 100-second video. But it took us 4 months to do that. 4 months to do the 90-minute shot. And I give this as an example to everybody. I'm sure you all would have seen Piper. If not, I'm putting it in the chat for all of you. Please go and watch the movie Piper. It's a 2.5 minute video animation by the Pixar studio. And that animated video took 3 years in making. So that should tell you that the process of creating animations is long. But if you follow the process, follow the timeline, things become very easy. So what is the process before you start developing the animations? And this is where your expertise as a teacher comes in. You may not have such fine animations, but you do have certain advantages that help your team plan better animations. So what are those? Let us just quickly look into it. So when we talk about animations, we need to understand that all animations come through a production cycle. Now, why do we need to understand what is a production cycle? Because at every step, there is a certain expectation. There is a certain planning needed. अगर वो ठीक से planning नहीं होती है, then we will make a mistake. And please trust me, it's like you'll have to go back all over again. Storyboard, Muthu sir, is just one part of the detail. So let us understand what the production cycle is. There are 3 phases. You have the pre-production, production, and post-production. Pre-production is basically, you need to decide what is the concept you're going to cover through the animation. What is your script going to be? Who are your characters? Like in my case, we have Ducky, we have Ducky's friend, the frog. At some times, we also have Ducky's other friends. The bird comes in, the butterflies come in. Now, all these aspects of deciding who's going to be my character, what is going to be the way in the setting in which my character is going to act, is going to be a part of the pre-production. As Sir correctly said, that integral part of the pre-production is to get your storyboards correct. Now, what is a storyboard? In some time, I will take you through the process of how do you write a storyboard and what is so interesting about the storyboard, especially for all of us as teachers. Now, if you move ahead and you look at the production cycle, once your script is ready, you start going into the production phase. That means now you remember all what I told you: wide angle, the long shot, wide angle, the close up, what is the kind of dressing, the clothes that your character is going to wear. All those things are planned in your pre-production place. But now you're going to design the scenes. So if it is an animated character where the Cheeties example, like the ants example is there, because we had a mountain coming in the poem, we decided to make use of an ant hill. An ant hill also looks like a mountain. For us, it looks like an ant hill chotu sa, because remember eye level is here, so we consider the ant hill to that much. But for the ant, the ant hill is like a mountain, right? So so the scene design then is set, the elements are then brought into place. Character animations, you remember the bird flying, Ducky's friend, the bird started flying. Now I can move Ducky's friend based on animation to take place. After this whole process is done, I have decided all my elements, animated all my elements, made all parts, all together. I have completed a large portion of my work now. But if you ask me, and this is our personal experience of working here, okay, before I answer that question, where do you think there is more investment of time? In the pre-production or production? In the chat, where do you think time is more required, in the pre or in the post? Sorry, in the pre or the production? In the pre. All right. Pre-production. All right. Okay. Okay. So the smart way to answer this is, thank you so much, all teachers. The smart way to answer this is yes, Kiran sir. Thank you so much. Both of them require your complete attention. It appears many a times that your pre-production needs a lot of focus, but please remember the production phase would depend on the complexities that you have planned in the pre-production. So if you wish to get in an animated video, say in 2 months' time, you must plan your pre-production process such a manner that the final output time. You cannot go into your pre-production phase and plan to so many actions. Just doing the animation will take pre-production is what will decide as when is final output going to come. So you have to lines like that. Then once your production is ready, you do your post-production sound effect. Example, one division that did image, the other division read the audio, we got kids to sing, we got musicians to, and then we took it, everything was brought in together. So it appears again, it looks to be the shortest time, but trust me, in the cycles that you have, is my voice breaking? Sound issue, signal issue, voice breaking. Sorry. Now is it better? Is it better now? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sorry. I guess, technical issues, we are at the mercy of everybody. Very sorry. So quickly, I'll just, go back and share what I was saying is, basically the post-production aspect, brings the entire process and you're able to see and enjoy the whole process. Now, when we talk about the production cycle, I also need to break these whole concepts that are there in the pre-production phase, the production phase, and the post-production phase into steps. Now, these steps will also help you plan and design your animations in a better manner. Let me give you an example, and I like to give this example for anybody who has started cooking. You know that cooking is not just the phase where you switch on the gas and you start putting in some things and cook it, and then you serve it, and then you take pictures of it to post it on Insta. You made something like that. That is not cooking. Cooking starts essentially when you start planning what you wish to make, and your planning of what you wish to make is dependent on A, what provisions you have, that is, what do you have in your kitchen. B, who is the target audience for your food. If it is your children, there is a different food that needs to be made. If the target audience is your parents or your in-laws, different food is going to be made. If there are guests coming, it's a different food that is to be made. If your siblings are coming, different food is to be made. So the same ingredient, like you have bottle gourd, which is called lauki in Hindi. If you have bottle gourd, if you have to make it for your parents and in-laws, you will just make it into something without any kind of a masala. But if it is for your children, you may want to grate it and put it into a dal or something where it just disappears because of its lightness and the child is able to eat it. Screen freeze. Oh boy, screen frozen. I'm not moved my screen. So if you're seeing steps, my screen is correct, right? Are you seeing steps written?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
seeing steps written? Yes. So I'm not moved. Thank you. Yeah. So basically, what I was just trying to tell all of you was that based on our target audience for whom we are planning to cook, our thought process changes. Like if your friend was coming and you're meeting after a long time, or your sister is coming, or your family is coming, you want to impress them, you might say, I will make koftas, that's like fried dumplings into the curry gravy. Or I see many of you are from the south, so you put the lauki into a lovely sambar, or you make like my mother makes a fantastic vetta kornbu with lauki and bottle gourd and all. So or you make your curry, or you put your so you can do so many options available. So you make your sambar, you make your dal, you can make so many things. Why did I give you this example? Because your resources are limited. Always remember this. As teachers, as developers, our resources are limited. If we don't plan well, get our end result correct. So I am going to be going back and emphasizing on how do we plan for it. Okay. Now, the first idea that you need to remember is that before you start your animation process, please define what your objective is. What is your learning goal? Is it just to make an animation because I think animations are cool? Not a good idea. Get your objective very clear. Be very clear about your target audience. I told you a humble vegetable like a bottle gourd, which you call lauki, can make you change the way you view cooking. You might want to sometimes, make it into like raita, or what you call in Tamil pachadi. You want to make it into that, or whatever it is. Your target audience is going to decide what you're going to do of that piece of vegetable. And that is exactly how animations need to be planned. Who is your target audience? If I try to do a poem like Cheaty for a, you know,
Your voice is breaking, ma'am. Please check.
I think my voice is audible. Sorry, very sorry for the network issues. So I was talking about interdependence and codependence of how we connect. If the ocean, somebody goes and nicks the wire in the ocean, all of us face internet issues. So it's a very small world. So basically what I was trying to tell you is if your target audience is not clear, you'll not be able to design and plan your, animations correctly. All right, moving ahead. Don't forget to research your content. I would need some support in letting me know if my screen is visible or not. I can't see the chat. So yes, I can see the chat now. Yes, screen is visible. Thank you so much. Very, very grateful. G, 1 minute. Let me just set this also in a place. We get very, what should I say, swayed when we are having a session. Hanji. So let's be very clear. Let's research content. Why is researching content important? expressions, you need to understand how the expressions can happen. You need to understand what is the view. Remember, I showed you the cat from various angles. Which is the view which will capture that expression very well. You need to research content, because suppose you're doing the working of art, and instead of putting the arrow into the oracle, then designer is no the going to make an animation doesn't have that the whole process of designing and developing that animation has to restart. So be very, very clear. Until and unless your concepts are not very well researched, until and unless your steps are not very clear, you will not be able to proceed ahead and ensure your animations don't have any kind of errors in them. Gafoor sir, I would need some time. Let me just wrap up with it. And then I'll take your questions. I've kept about 5-7 minutes for questions. Clear that as one of the sirs, I think Muthu sir very correctly said, am I disconnected again? Am I disconnected again? No,
No,
yeah. Somebody said I was disconnected, and I was like worried. As one of the teachers had correctly said, you need to develop a storyboard. Storyboard is nothing but the sequence at which the character is going to be at what position. So when the storyboard happens, you're going to say that, okay, I need a village scene, I need a bazaar scene, I need the clouds at certain heights, or I need a pond scene, I need 2 frogs in the pond, I only want 1 frog. Why these are important? Because please remember, all the things that you write in your storyboard is what the designer is going to sit and design, plan, and do it. Even if you are going to do the designing yourself, you cannot go back and say, oh, it'll be very nice if I get a butterfly here. You can bring in the butterfly, there's no doubt about it. But then remember, you are going to restart the whole process. And when you develop the script, remember, the script has to be in very simple language, so that irrespective of the age of the user, the end user is able to understand what is being spoken. Now, in the videos that we saw, I did not pause and ask you questions, but I asked you a few questions before. Okay. How much time is required to prepare an animation of 5 minutes for the children? Shijit sir, it depends on the kind of animations. Give me 5 minutes. I will come and answer this question. Just 5 minutes, please. I ask you, and I will tell you why. I will show you an example where you can do it in 2 seconds. And I will show you an example where it can take you like how we just did 3 months. All right. So when you create your script, you also have a storyboard with it. The storyboard is nothing but the visual representation of what all is going to happen in your entire scene, very clearly telling the person that this is where I want the zoom in to take place, this is where I want the zoom in to move out, this is where I want the tear to drop, or this is how broad the smile has to be. It's the early morning scene. So you remember I showed you the morning time also, between noon and afternoon. The images look similar, but if you animated it in noon, the sun would be above, the shadow of the character will be smaller. Now, these aspects, if you don't keep in mind, then your animation doesn't qualify for being a realistic impression of a real life scenario. All right. Yes, a lot of it depends on that. So when you plan your storyboard, keep all these aspects in mind. Keep your narration in place, keep the cues as to which will help them create the story. All right. Then you need to decide whether you want to have 2-dimensional animation, 3-dimensional animation, or a whiteboard animation, or a stop animation. I've shown you examples of all of them. Whiteboard animation, I will show it to you. You can use tools like Adobe Animate, or even an interesting tool like Canva has apps within, and you can use the Canva apps to animate characters. So that's a very, very easy thing to do with Canva. And as I was telling you earlier, in the next 1 month's time, we will have these Canva tutorials on Diksha for all teachers to use and showcase. If you want, towards the end of this session, give me 2 minutes. I will show you how I animated Ducky on Canva and how beautifully it looked. Just give me 2 minutes, and it was very easy to do. Okay, so moving ahead, after you get your storyboard in place, please plan your production cycle, decide where are your images going to come from, what are the images you want to create, what are the images you're going to use from your own repository, or what are the images you're going to use from the internet. And here I will caution all of you, please don't forget that use images that fall under the Creative Commons license or recreate images. Be very, very, very mindful of copyright issues, be it in terms of the music that you use, be it in terms of the animations that you use, be it in terms of the images that you use. If you're not mindful of your copyright laws, please remember YouTube nowadays has started bringing down the videos for violation of any such copyright issues. A good idea to remember is during your production cycle, use professional quality audio resources to record your scenes, and don't forget to time your scenes. That is, decide how much time you'll take for the animation to take place. Like for example, when the presentation began, I showed how Ducky's feet were walking, and they were timed. When I started the animation in the morning, I had kept them as 3 seconds, which was a long duration, but I brought the animation to 1.5 seconds, and you see how quickly the animation moved. So please plan in that manner. Okay, then I'm moving ahead. Then of course you move this, your project moves to the animators who are able to create the animations, add the multimedia. They make sure to test the environment in which it is functioning. The other 3 processes which are very important as a part of it is, do not forget to share whatever you have created with your other fellow educators, because when you share and you care, remember what I told you earlier, it's a part of our learning journey. You will get feedback. You'll also understand how others have done it very easily. And if there is an issue, please revise the content. Don't start and tell the students, I made a mistake here. Doesn't happen like that, because animations help you strengthen concepts. So if there is an error in any of the animations that you've made, please remember, students will find it difficult to remember and recall. Then of course, you decide what is the format in which you wish to export your animation, and you add in captions into the videos so that everybody is able to use the animations. Why captions are important, and that's where accessibility needs to be kept in mind. Just 1 second, Yakub sir, I'm going to show you correctly. One of the ma'ams had also mentioned PowerPoint also helps you create very simple animations. Before I forget, for anything that you do not forget to add in captions, because one of the mandates of the NEP 2020 is to ensure inclusive education at all stages. We must create resources that strengthen the access to education. And the last aspect here is to remember, share, upload it onto platforms, evaluate its effectiveness, and refine it based on the insights that you have. Now, coming into some of the questions that you had, this is Laisram sir, just have a look, 1 second. Now this is a house and this is a cat. And let us see what is the cat doing. The cat has gone in front of the house, and I have created this using PowerPoint. I didn't do anything else. And I told you I will show you how to create it. Let me see, can I create it? Is this moving? Now the cat is on the house. Where do I create this animation from? Where do I use such kind of an animation? I use this kind of an animation when I'm teaching prepositions to my children, grade 3, grade 4. Yes, you correctly said, Rohini ma'am, use motion path animation. For the benefit of those who don't know what motion path animation is, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
1 second. I'm sorry, I had to sign out this. 1 second, please. I'm just sharing my screen. Now you're not able to see anything, right? Now you're able to see my screen? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm putting my ducky here to the side. I'm deleting this motion path, or okay. I am going to delete the motion path. Okay, so I'm teaching prepositions to my students, and I want to show them how I'm using my prepositions, and I want to show them the cat is moving close to the house, or okay, so I'm showing the cat is moving close to the house. My cat is far away. I'm showing close to the house. Teachers have correctly said you need to go to animations. Are you able to see my thing? You need to select the animation and go to path animation. Over there, you just choose freeform, draw freeform. Now, please remember, we need to do realistic animations, and I'm using just my finger. I'm not using even a mouse. So remember, a cat is not going to walk, just like a straight line like this. The cat has some zigzag motion. I've added this. Please don't forget to put it into a drop. Oh, yeah. So you see my cat moving. Now we realize that the cat is bigger in size. So I'm going to reduce the animation size. Now let us see how does it go. Can I play this motion again? And here, where is my animation plan? Here is my animation and play. Why is it not playing? Play here. Can you see my cat going the way it is going? Yes, it's as easy as that to create your animations. Okay, I am thankful to the organizers for this option. 1 second, I told you I will show you animations also. 1 second, yes. Yes, before I move ahead, the easiest way, as I was telling you, is to create your animations using PowerPoint. You can use your apps also. All the animations that you saw, which look the high-end animations, were created using Adobe tools. Prachi ma'am is going to share with you some of the open source softwares to create animations. You can use. You can also create animations using Canva. 1 second, I thank you so much, ma'am. Just let me just log into my Canva account, and I want to show you my Ducky Canva thing. Just give me a second. I'll set it up for you here. Now, oh yes. So this screen that you saw, this entire Ducky concept was from Canva. Okay, and now I'm going to show you. Can you see this animation of my ducky? Are you able to see the animation of my ducky? Yes? Let's see how do you do it in 1 second. All right. Let me delete this. I'm bringing in my image of the ducky into the previous slide. Can you see my screen, please? As to what I'm doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. I have just brought in ducky here. And let me try and move ducky here. This is there. Come on. Just 1 second. I think the net position with, I'm not able to rotate her. Chalo, even if she cannot be rotated, okay? I need to go to apps, okay? I'm going to apps. I just need to type in here animate, image animate. And it's free, by the way, it's free. I'm going to use Animator. I can use many apps. I'm going to use Animator. I have already selected the animation image, and I'm going to say animate. I just need to just do this. This is not a paid app. You have no animator credits. Oh, I'm so sorry. Today morning, I used my animator credits. Let me see if I can use another app. Just give me a second, please. This is the only thing which will happen with, let me try using another animator app. So you just need to select your image and it tells me I can create, connect. No, sorry. 1 second. Sorry. Just a second. So your app is supposed to be able, suppose let me try this. If I'm able to convert that image into a line art. I hope you're able to. This is free for teachers and it is able to do that. Yes, try an example. Make a duck walk. Try an example. Generate. I've just generated it. And this is the app. This is the Canva app. the Canva website, which is free for all educators. You just need to log in into Canva and you will be able to access, you need to upload, and as an educator, you need to send in your logins as a educator and you'll be able to access these apps. No, Amit sir, you need to get an educator's license and you will be able to access these apps easily. So as I was telling you, that my net connection is again going a bit slow with the net here. Let me see. No. Yes, simple upload of the app. I'm sorry, my net connection is not helping me get you the animator. Animate. Let me see. Get more credits now. Cancel. I will, I'm not, my net is not working, correctly. But just to give you an idea, I'm stopping this here. Through Canva also, you are able to create your animated videos, and so easily we are able to do so many things. I will just leave you with one small note that no, Pratibha ma'am, as an educator, it doesn't ask you for subscription. As an educator, it will not allow you for subscription. But yes, if you wish to use more than the AI limit which is given, it has an AI limit option for educators also per day, and that option is there for everybody. So, let's not overstep the time. I am interested if there are any questions that you think I can answer. It will be my pleasure to help you out. My name is Pranita. Pranita, and it's been a pleasure to interact with all of you. And that's so nice, Nivedita ma'am, that you're using Canva. We are going to start our courses and it'll be an interesting experience for all of us. So thank you so much, Dr. Sunita, and thank you so much, Professor Indu and Dr. Rajaul, for this opportunity. It has been a wonderful experience talking to all of you and showcasing the work that we are doing here at CIET NCERT. Namaste.
Thank you
ma'am.
so much, ma'am, for your showing your expertise and all your valuable guidance. And thanks to the Ducky also, because with your guidance, she helped us understand that how animation goes far beyond entertainment, and it can become a powerful tool for education also. Thank you so
Yes.
much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, Ji. Bye-bye.